who among us hasn't thought of what it would be like to go flying? And just for a moment, imagine that you embark on that as a hobby, but then it becomes your career, and it becomes an entire career, and then your son decides to follow in your footsteps, so to speak. That's what we're here to talk about, this Cessna 177, owned by the Conrads, and this is going to be an adventure for the ages. Looking forward to it. Well, this is the first time I've had a father and son duo to talk about a maritime machine, and this is a 1971. It's a Cessna 177?
That's correct.
And what model 177 is
There's
this?
an A and a B and an RG. Okay. And the A has 150 horsepower, B is 180 horsepower, and the RG has retractable gear.
And this was your 80th birthday present?
My 80th birthday present about 18 months ago, so I'm 81 and a half now.
So how does one find a 1971 aircraft in a shape like this?
Well, it shows up nicely now because it just had a new paint job. Right. Even though it's a 71, what is it, 53 years old, paint job does a nice thing. But it's been kept, well kept, and airplanes don't quite deteriorate like cars.
Right.
They well maintained in a hangar, that helps.
And why was this the plane that you wanted for your birthday?
Well, I had been flying for about the last 10 years in a Piper, which has a low wing. And I'm losing my ability to get around, and I found it difficult to get in. And this one's very easy to get in. It's lower to the ground, a high wing with no strut. And so I can come up and just sit in the seat, and away we go. It's easy to fly. Easier to get in, rather.
Well, how much easier is it to fly this than the other planes that you've flown in your career?
Oh, they're all the same. It's just push, pull, and turn. You pull and the cars get smaller. You push and the cars get bigger. However, it is more complicated in the bigger airplanes.
You were born and grew up in Lunenburg County.
Right.
And then moved away, obviously, Montreal. And how did you ever end up in Charlottetown?
Oh, well, at 80 years old, I had a lot of moves over the years.
Right.
And I was alone in Waverly, and getting elderly, a little hard to get along with. And it was either move to my daughter in Calgary or my son in PEI. So I decided to move here. And I have a good place for the airplane here. And David's my pilot, as I don't fly anymore.
And why aren't you flying now?
I can't pass the aviation medical. About 5 years ago, I started taking medication for my feet and balance, and you can't fly with that. But there's nothing to say, David's always with me, that in sitting in the right seat, that I can't pretend I'm an autopilot and follow a heading and an altitude.
The lack of struts is, again, a feature to help with what? How does it change the perspective from the seat?
Just really visibility. If you're taking pictures, the strut doesn't get in the way. It's easier getting in and out. And I guess that's about it.
Let's go have some fun. Yeah.
So when this aircraft came out, they wanted it to replace or be a replacement for the 172, which is an aircraft that was, there were a lot of them built. A lot of people learned to fly in those.
Right.
And what was it that you knew about this aircraft when it first came out?
Well, I remember that the instructors didn't like it and students didn't like it. It just didn't perform like, the 172 is almost like a half-ton truck. This was just a little more updated, and this particular slat here wasn't in on the first A model. It was a solid piece across here, and apparently there was a few accidents right in the first 6 months or so, and it was traced back to a stall of the horizontal stabilizer here. And they fixed it by putting this, you call this a slat, David?
Yeah, I gotta be honest, not 100%.
Slat, anyway.
Yeah.
So this was a mod about 6 months after it came out, and they've been okay since then, but it's never caught on as a training airplane.
It kind of almost poisoned the model in the training world that the 172 was flawless. And now you tweaked it and messed with the recipe a little bit, and Cessna didn't get the forgiveness after that. They gave it 30 more horsepower and they fixed it, and it is flawless. But the training community didn't quite embrace it.
We take good care of our engine. So we bring her back to climb thrust. And and we're climbing out at 80 miles per hour.
So is this propeller variable pitch?
Yes, so this is the RPM, and as I change the speed, it will adjust its pitch. And then the power, there's all sorts of different measurements of power, and in these little things, we use inches of manifold pressure, which is not something your average person would ever use in any other non-aviation application. Some airplanes use exhaust gas temperature, and the turbines, turbine temperature.
So, Cardinal, what's this signify?
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, there's different, every airplane, they try and give it a little name other than a number that sticks. And to be truthful, I don't know the history behind the word cardinal. But even taxiing in today, one of the students here said, hey, what kind of airplane is that? Because the nose strut is a little different, no support of the wings, better visibility. It was just a step up from the Cessna 150, the 172, and then the 177, the 180, the 182, the 206, and I've flown most of those.
It's like on an automobile, they put a Mustang or a Chevy Impala. This one, they put the Cessna Cardinal.
So you've both been commercial pilots with Air Canada in your career?
Yes, and we all had to start, though, in the small airplanes and flying clubs like the Truro Flying Club. And we all worked our way up. There's many stages to go up to an airline transport license.
To fill this aircraft, how much fuel is on?
So we got 50 U.S. gallons at 50 U.S. gallons, 3.8 liters per gallon. That's 190 liters at 570, 550 bucks to fill her up. So I could take, so we could go to Boston or that. Right. And then the maintenance cost is double that.
There must be some real satisfaction in knowing that you're able to do this, and you have this machine at your disposal to use.
Yes, not many 80-year-olds say they bought an airplane and are able to continue with their passion. I really enjoy it. I look forward to flying very much. It's something that gets in you, and you feel good when you go up.
Dad's a little quieter personality than myself. I'm pretty out there, and we're up there and having some magical goosebump moments, and he's giving me a high five at time, and I've never had a high five by Dad until we've been in this airplane.
That's an awesome story.
So here we are. You wanna take your first spin?
Absolutely.
So you've probably been in airplanes before. You're just gonna keep your feet neutral on the floor, and really visual. You're just looking at outside to see where the horizon is and where the dash is. So you can see the dash is just below the horizon, and then for gauges inside, we're the center of the needles here, right? We're right on the horizon. I'll show you a turn first, and then I'll show you. I'll verbalize the thinking that goes on. So this is our bank angle. I'm keeping our altitude, and I don't want my altitude to budge.
Okay.
There's 30-10. Each digit is 10 degrees, so I have a 30-degree bank angle. I'm keeping my altitude right on 2,000. And with all these toys, I mean, you keep that triangle right on the horizon, and then you get to see what the dash looks like in a turn.
It's aluminum, it's lightweight. What does this weigh compared to a commercial airliner?
We're looking at 2,500 pounds.
Versus 235,000 kilos times 2.2, about 510,000 pounds. So this is 25. It's
Okay, so you have more weight and fuel than
oh
quite a
my
few
goodness,
of these.
yeah, I have 70,000 kilos of fuel. 70,000 kilos of fuel.
150,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So often when we're talking with people about their machines, if it was a really common machine, it got used up and there aren't many of them around. So sometimes it was the slight modifications or the different versions of something that tended to be popular. Do you know how many of these
It's in the
aircraft are out
high
there?
2000s. I'd say between 25 and 2,800. Whereas in the 172s, they're well over 10,000. So they're really the market airplane for training, and they're still making them.
So do people know what this is when they look at it?
No, they don't. They quite often get asked, what's the model of that? So 2,800 in North America they're not common. This is the only one on this field, and there's like 3 in Nova Scotia, 2 in PEI.
We'll pick a heading out here. I know the practice area where the students are going is somewhere out there. So we'll go out off this peninsula out here out of their way in case something. And again, it's see and be seen VFR, visual flight rules. So these are the new added, what we put on are these electronic. And this even talks to a satellite. It's called ADS-B. And we can see other traffic and provide a satellite as opposed to a ground-based signal. It's incredible. I have just as much on information here as my Airbus 330. Really? Yeah. Impressive. So, I'll give you control, and when we give control in the professional world, I say you have control.
I say taking control.
And you repeat it, I have control. So you're going to have control, and it's really gentle. I gave it to you trimmed. It really is hardly any. I have control. You have control. And you can point her wherever you want to point her. He's flying. Altitude is the same. We're at a 20-degree bank.
You did 30, right?
Yeah. There's
Just going
over
down a
here.
bit, right?
There's over here. Each digit is 10. Really good. Natural.
It's flying itself.
It's a nicely trimmed airplane, and that's why it doesn't take much input. It's very gentle.
So I'm sure you have lots of stories. I'm not sure. Is there a secret society of code that you're not allowed to talk about certain things?
Not really. We are great for meeting. In Charlottetown, we meet every Saturday morning, 20 guys for breakfast, and then go to the hangar and talk hangar talk. Yeah. Airline guys, I'm in the retired group. We meet at a pub once a month and talk stories, mostly like fishermen, big lies. Anyway, but there's nothing prohibited. We can't give out facts of how Air Canada operates exactly.
Right.
But no, it's no problem.
You were just in Italy?
I was in Venice last week, yep.
And what was that experience like?
It's a pretty good day. One of the things I say, the three of us, when we're over dinner, a little cheers, we go, this is us at work, and this is what I signed up for. And then when I get to come home and hang out with Dad and do this, I mean, it's an amazing privilege, amazing time we have together, and life is pretty good from Venice to Debert in 1 week.
Pretty proud of this guy. Both of you. You're pretty proud of this
We're
guy.
we have a huge mutual admiration.
Was it always this way? I'm just thinking this guy's a teenager. I'm sorry.
Well, it's never perfect, right?
No, there were times it was a little bit.
We had some rocky times, but that's what families you press on in love, right?
You look in the mirror and it's
Yeah.
you see what you were like, I'm sure, as a kid.
Yeah, very much so. And we're built the same. But he's got more hair than I do. For now, but
For
I
now.
bet you he'll lose it like me.
The grass doesn't grow on a busy street, sir.
No, sir, no.
Well, this is a lot of fun. How much of the commercial side of it with a modern airliner is about computers and assistance? How much of it is hands-on, analog type flying?
It is computer driven. I'm on an Airbus that's fly-by-wire, electronic flight controls, all computer screens. You program the brains, the autopilot follows the brains. The pilot is a manager, so the flying is up to the crew on a day-to-day basis. We physically fly a joystick for the first several minutes and the last several minutes. And beyond that, the automation allows me really the captain and the first officer to step back and perspective, get a larger situational awareness as opposed to being too close to it. You can't see the forest through the trees.
Right.
It allows you to think big picture.
Still get that jazz, the little jazz feeling every time?
Oh yeah, like I'm a little kid. I love this. This is freaking awesome.
How's your dad taking the fact that he's not licensed now?
He's actually doing pretty well. He realizes it. He's just he'll shake his head. Geez, son, I'm just not what I used to be. And I'll give him a tap. I'll go, Dad, you're talking about it. It's part of life. You can't deny it. So I think he's doing better than average.
But he's 81 now. This was his 80th birthday present?
A year and a half ago, yeah. Yeah.
So, Jerry, are you flying commercially and saying, that guy was a little bit rough on the landing?
Yes, I can say that, but I understand. I know back where it came from. We all had to go through that. And not every landing is smooth, but a hard one, I'll do better the next time. I'm sure the guy says that. I remember if we did a good landing, I'd get out of my seat and stand in the door and wave everybody goodbye.
Yeah.
But if it was a hard landing, I'd say to the co-pilot, you stand out there and you tell them goodbye to the people.
That's a good way to do it.
That's the advantage of being the captain.
Yeah, 2IC, you go deal with this.
All right, drive for right hand. It feels beautiful.
Good.
Drive for right hand.
Okay. There, you're 30-degree bank now. Just pull back just a little. Here's your altitude, right?
Right.
Just a little. And you look at here now. Now you pull back too much. In the middle of the triangle. There you go. And let it gently come back. Yeah.
This is a 4-seater aircraft. How far are you going? Like, if you wanted to pack up on a weekend and
The
take
thing
a trip?
has 5 hours of gas, but you can't take 5 hours and full load. So you could go to Boston with this with 3 or 4 people basically. So 3.5 hour flight, doing 140 miles an hour.
So that's a nice little jaunt.
It is.
You've done that?
Ottawa's 3.5 hours. So we've only had it a year and a half, and we've had some electronic avionic upgrades. We got a tail beacon, an ADS-B that gives a signal via satellite both out and in, so we can see other airplanes. It's not mandatory in Canada yet, but it is in the States. So we're just dipping our feet into the water on going down, doing more in the States.
80th birthday present?
A year and a half ago, yeah. Yeah.
I'd say he earned it.
Yeah. He should have got a little bit of money left, and I can't take it with me, so let's have a little bit of fun.
Right.
And we've had a ball, and we haven't even gone down to the States yet, so I want to take him to Boston, where some of his ancestors came from. Some of distant relatives, and go have a pint in an old pub there and stop in Maine and stop in a little town there and spend the night as well.
Everybody knows your name.
Yeah. You're doing great.
Thank you.
I notice there's a list on the dash here as well.
Dad and I try and run it professionally with a checklist. Nobody's perfect, and better to catch all the steps, do it right. Dad and I got this far in aviation. Dad never dinged an airplane, and neither did I. There is a saying in aviation, there's old pilots and there's bold pilots, but there's no old, bold pilots. And we want to continue living by that.
Nice way to put it.
So that's that.
Lovely machine.
We are very happy with it. We're humbled, blessed, lucky, fortunate, all of the above.
So this aircraft potentially could have another, how many years left?
10 to 20. Yeah. Yeah.
And don't hit your head on the wing.
Yeah.
I have to ask, if you're flying as a career, if that's your job, why in the world would you want to be flying on your days off?
That's a good, yeah. A lot of our pilots don't. When they finish with the airline, I don't want to see, and when they retire, they don't want to see what we call general aviation. David and I are different. Maybe only about 20% of the airline pilots go into general aviation. But we like it very much.
To be truthful, I hadn't flown a little one in 30 years, 30 years.
Wow.
And I kind of, for a long time, wondered, why do you want to get back in an airplane when you've done it all month? And I tell you, this morning, when I knew I was flying, I was up at 5 o'clock like a little boy at Christmas morning. We are having so much fun. It's a passion. It's an expensive toy, and a hobby that puts a mile-wide smile on our face.
How does it still feel for you, even though you're not necessarily able to hold the license, but doesn't mean you can't hold the yoke?
No. It feels very good. I really like to get back. And it's like riding a bicycle. You never forget how to fly. And I'll never forget how to do it. It's amazing. I like it very much. I don't get the goosebumps like David does, but I do. I really like it.
It sounds like it's given a lot to you over the years.
Yes, it's been our life. Of course, family comes first, but next for me, behind family comes flying. And it's been in my life. People say, you fly all the time? I said, yes, it's just like a regular 9-to-5 job. We go to work just like anybody else. We just might not work 5 days a week. We might work 4 days a week.